Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be going over my build for the Diecast Mafia El Cheapo challenge. For this challenge you have to have a store, customise or Gaslands, a no-name brand, 1/64 scale casting. And as you can kind of guess, I went with Gaslands. For this I chose this APC style vehicle. Now this video is going to be a bit different from the usual videos. It's going to actually be a bit longer because I've actually went into doing the build process. I've actually got a couple of videos like this, so bear in mind these are kind of early stages of me trying to develop this style, so it's not going to be the best quality. You'll have to forgive the lighting because it's a bit bad because unfortunately it's winter time and there's no daylight, so I've had to record these at night and so the lighting's not the best, but it's better than it being completely dark. Because I usually use natural lighting when I'm filming these. So to start with, I took these two track pieces which I actually had left over from a Fast and Furious 8 ice ram. I actually turned that truck into a monster truck which I've yet to do a video on. So taking my stroke cutters, I trimmed down the track pieces and then removed the rear wheels on the APC. And then used some super glue to attach them to the back of the APC. As you can see from this hole in the front here, at some point this probably had a turret of some kind, but it's just been lost before I even got my hands on this thing. So to fill the hole, I decided to just use a drawing pin, just to act as a hatch. The reason for this is because I plan to put a big cannon or a turret of some kind on the back. So after going through all my weapons and stuff, I decided on using this Ramshackles Games rocket pod, which is from the 20mm conversion set. But first I need to smooth down this rear hatch, which I was planning to mount the rocket pod to, so I just use this file to take off all the detail and sand it flat. Then using a pin drill I drilled a hole into the hatch. I did the same thing with the rocket pod and then used a piece of styrene tubing to act as a peg just to connect the pair of them together, like so. So then I decided this thing needed a secondary weapon, so I decided to make a whole machine gun. So I took this Ramshackle Games gun piece that I had lying in my bits box and mounted it to the front windshield as a whole machine gun, like a dual machine gun sort of thing. To fill gaps in the hull gun, I decided to use some liquid green stuff. I'm also planning to use this to fill up the hole in the front, as you can see here. Once dried, I clean this up and sand it down and just get rid of the excess, but I did this off camera because it's just a case of you sand it down, you fill some more, you sand it down and you just rinse and repeat until it's all nice and smooth. Moving on to the painting stage. Now most of the colours I use are usually Revell Aqua colours because they're water based and they're easy to clean up after. So I start with some olive green and apply this both to the rocket pod and the APC, and I use 2 coats. Usually you can use 3, but since I was going to add camo I just decided to use 2 coats instead. So I moved on to painting the camo, so I used this sandy yellow colour and just painted some kind of stripes. After that I used this light olive, which kind of looks like a grey, but it's supposed to be a light olive. So originally I was going to have the colours overlapping each other, but it just didn't look right, so I just went back over it with the olive green and broke all the colours up. Moving on to the weathering, I decided first to dry brush on some silver. This is metallic silver, and this will just simulate scratches and just paint that's flaked off over the years. Next I just paint our little tools that are moulded into the casting, like the fire extinguisher, the shovels, etc. So moving on, I used some Revell matte black and then painted the wheels and the tracks. I then painted the hubs of the tracks and the wheels with Revell steel again. After this I decided to add some rust. Now I usually use Revell rust, but I'd run out, so I just ended up mixing up my own little rust colour, which I'll use until I run out, and then I'll go back to using Revell rust. And I just dry brush this over the top just to act like rust that's kind of bubbling up, because I don't want this to look too rusted, but also it wasn't necessarily, it looked too clean. So next I dry brushed on some sandy yellow on the wheels, but I felt it looked a bit too heavy, so I dry brushed some black over the top. This way the sand colour is only in the treads and it looks more realistic. So finally I finished this off with a custom black wash that I'd mixed up. This kind of just tones down the colours, but also adds a nice layer of dirt and grime to the car. And here we are with the finished result. Heavily armed, a heavily weathered and heavily armoured vehicle. Fit for the apocalypse. Like usual, this is another fun challenge by Diecast Mafia. If you enjoyed my build, I recommend you checking out some of the other builders' builds. Just search Diecast Mafia El Cheapo build and it'll bring up a bunch of different people's builds. As usual, there'll be a nice little slideshow at the end. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one.